What's up, guys? Welcome to another Disorderly Quickie. I think this is going to be the way we do things moving forward, where it's instead of doing like the hour-long episodes, it's going to be these quick little 10-minute hitters, because I think people consume that better. But today we're talking about Black Panther. I'm not going to lie, so I'm probably going to yield to you more than relying on my own opinion, because I feel like you're more the comic book guy. I've seen a bunch of these movies. I personally like this a lot. I saw your points about the villain. We can get into all of that. This, by the way, just to warn everybody, this will contain full spoilers, because I don't know how else to have like a conversation without that. So if you haven't seen Black Panther, you probably want to go see that before you listen to this. But we can just jump into it. So I guess we'll start. What are your overall thoughts on the movie?
I don't know. It was kind of one of those mid-tier sort of Marvel movies that I'm kind of like, it's just kind of a placeholder. It's kind of I don't know. It's just, whatever. I mean, it's kind of fine. It's a good kind of first, it's not the first we've seen of him. It's but it's kind of his first big vehicle, and yeah, I don't know, man. It's just whatever, dude. I don't know. It's one of these weird situations where it's the greatest thing of all time all of a sudden or something, and you're just like, man, it bums me out, because it's like, it's a fine movie, but it's not an incredible work of art, which is just kind of goofy to me. So I don't know, because I have a lot more, I guess, I don't know, I like self-admittedly maybe more context, but I mean, kind of, I'm curious to hear what you thought, because you are kind of like, like you haven't read the books, you haven't read like a ton of this stuff.
I haven't even seen all the movies. Like there's like, I know he made cameos in the Avengers and stuff. I don't think I even saw the second Avengers movie. Like I really am green when it comes to the comic book stuff. So I did see it, from the perspective of not being a comic book fan. I saw, and we'll get into the more nitty gritty of it, but I saw it, like in your article, a lot of what you're referencing is how things differed from the comics and like stuff like that. So that's context I didn't even have watching it. But yeah, I mean, I liked it. I agree. I went into it with a weird, because everyone's talking about like it's the greatest gift to cinema. Like I went into it almost like hating on it unfairly, but it's not. It's just like my natural counter to, everyone just raving about how amazing it is. So I went in like, come on, it can't be that good. So I almost went in with like that attitude. I was pleasantly surprised, actually. I walked out and being like, wow, that I actually really did enjoy that as like a standalone, without the context and without the even, all the context of the movies, never mind the comics. I did enjoy it as a standalone. I think some performances, actually all the performances were super strong. I mean, the plot at the end of the day, this is my problem. I think when we talked about Thor too, like, I know Black Panther like wins at the end, so it's just all those movies. Like I feel like that there's always gonna be a level of like predictability and corniness to any superhero movie. In my mind, and so like I don't know. I can't get that into it, but I did like it as a standalone movie.
Yeah, it's a weird one, because we already know, because they've kind of they released the Infinity War trailer like a month ago, something like that, and you're watching it going like, I not only know that that Black Panther is going to be fine because he's got to be in that, but I also know some of the ancillary other characters are going to be fine because I've already seen them in the damn trailer. You know what I mean? So it kind of removes a lot of stakes. It's like, it was a weird thing. I don't know. You know what I mean? So like some of my like just, I didn't understand some of the structure that Coogler goes for, where you kind of introduce this big badass killer Killmonger, and you see him in the first, I don't know. I think the first time we see him is the first time we see him when he does the heist in London.
Yeah, it starts with him like in the museum. Yep.
Right. Okay. So and then he disappears for like an hour. Right. So like you don't see him on screen for an hour, and you're like, that's just a strange kind of move to do. Given that, we're not going to get him, spoiler alert, maybe in other future installments. So it's a weird thing that I don't know why you wouldn't, because I'd argue he's almost as big a star, if not bigger than Boseman. You know what I mean? So it was kind of a weird thing. And then to counter that later in the film, where you're like, we're going to have this fake out death scene with Black Panther,
right,
where Boseman's not on screen for another good 20 minutes, something like that, half hour, where the audience knows, hey, we know he didn't die. So what are we doing? Now we're just waiting to hear how you're going to explain how he didn't die.
Right.
You know what I mean? So some of the structural things, I'm like, and this was what I mean. I saw this. I don't know. I only saw it once, and I saw it like 6 days ago, something like that. So I'm trying to remember, but just some of the weird things in it, man. I don't know. It's weird. It's like I wish people would have kind of honest conversations about stuff that they found problems with it, but man, it's just like it's just it's craziness out there. You know what I mean? Like, what are the Black Panther's Oscar chances? I'm like, yo, oh man, I don't know.
All right, so these are obviously just random people saying this, but like your best guess. I mean, I know where you stand on whether it deserves an Oscar, but your best guess, like, could it be one of those movies that like sneaks in because of all the hype around it, all the politics, like all the stuff? I feel like I could see them throwing in a bone almost, which I mean that'd be upsetting. It's not.
I don't want any movie that uses the "what are those" meme in a Oscar conversation. My brain went like through my brain. It was like going, on the 405, going 100 and then just hitting the handbrake. If you throw a Jake Paul meme, and I know it's not a Jake Paul meme, but he murdered it and destroyed it and made that a horrible meme.
Right.
But I've heard weird defenses of that where people are like, oh, no, well, in the alternate timeline that Black Panther exists, that meme is still relevant because it's supposed to take place 2 years ago or something. I've heard some wild just apologists just, this makes sense because he's doing this or that. And I'm like, yo, you can't defend a "what are those" meme in 2018 in a movie. I just,
Well, all right, so that's the whole thing. And even like, and I'll be honest, like some of the jokes, actually a lot of them I thought landed, especially for comic book movies. I feel like the comic relief can sometimes be like tiresome or whatever, and I feel like this movie actually did like a decent job with that. But there's still like these moments where it's just like such corny, and I get it's the genre. It's kind of like a family friendly, superhero movie, whatever. Like I understand that, but also it's like I just can't get that into like any of these. I wish I could. Like I feel like I just look around and see people are having so much fun with like all the Marvel movies. Like, oh, check out the new trailer. I can't get into it to that level. Like I had fun. It's like a fun movie, but it doesn't have like any depth or anything that's gonna like stick with me.
No, yeah. I mean, they're kind of, they're goofy, they're fun. I think they just, I don't know, man. It's just the weirdest thing, and it's like, I've always seen people that grouch at them and stuff, like like Jodie Foster and all the stuff, saying that big movies like this are ruining the world and ruining movies, and I'm like, like I'm slowly agreeing with you a little bit because it's just the you know what I mean, the kind of it's a weird thing because the Oscars and the award season and all that stuff and the indie films and the going for the dramas and taking the dangerous roles and all the stuff, it's like that you're not going to make it at the box office, but that is your reward. You know what I mean? Like, hey man, you spent 2 years starving yourself to be a heroin addicted tranny prostitute, Jared Leto. Like, we're going to give you that Oscar for that, dog. You know what I mean? Now we're in this territory where it's like, well, you were just in a big, really popular movie, and so we're just going to round it out, and you're going to get an Oscar. And I'm like, whoa, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it's this dude's like third film, and it's got a lot of problems. You know what I mean? No one kind of wants to talk about it, but just some weird problems, dude. You know what I mean? And pretty big ones. And I didn't want to write them down, but like, just some weird stuff. I mean, just I don't know.
All right, well, we'll get into the specifics of that, but first, just with the the politics and whatever, and like how crazy, like the tweet that you sent me, that lady, where she asked like when it was appropriate for her as a middle-aged white woman to see this movie. She didn't want to, was it steal the black pride or something? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
We're just at kind of peak craziness, man. And I'm like, it's a weird thing where if you're not down for it, you're a Nazi or you're racist or something. I'm just like, yo, this is just crazy though. Like the hyperbole that surrounds some of these movies, man. I'm just, I just want to enjoy movies and kind of be real, but it's just wild. It's like, get with the program or not, you know what I mean? It's like, if you don't have anything incredibly hyperbolic, I don't know. but just wild stuff. I mean, you know, it's funny if you go watch, like, some of my favorite guys are like the Red Letter Media guys and Half in the Bag. And they start their show just reading some of the most insane kind of like over the top headlines about Black Panther, about how it's like it should be studied in school and it'll, you know, it's reshaped our generation and it's done all the stuff. And I'm like, man, like, yo.
Were they in alignment with your opinion? Like, were they also mixed on it?
To a point. Well, you know, and even it's like, you know, they're some of my favorites because they goof on everything. You know what I mean? They're kind of like, you know, they snark and laugh and everything, and even they watch themselves. They tread lightly. Even them. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh God, you know what I mean? It's you know, they were like, you know, there's some really great stuff about this movie and about this and that, and you know, what's fun is it's a very diverse cast and it just looks different than what I'm like. They really were like, ugh, what are we gonna, you know, what are we gonna pull at? What are we gonna, you know what I mean? So it was interesting to hear people that are just like trying to spin stuff. And I'm not saying they're doing that, but just kind of like, well, you got to balance it out with all the good stuff that it does. And it's just interesting. I don't know. It's kind of, you know, I just think it's an interesting movie, but you know, the headlines of, you know, every record is broken and everything this and all the celebrities that just have to get out there and, you know, hey man, where's your tweet? You know what I mean? It's been 72 hours and you don't have a paragraph long tweet gushing about how great this was and what a cultural milestone this. Like, I mean, it's just wild stuff. You know what I mean? Because all I do is read headlines and sit on Twitter and read celebrities insane tweets and, you know, Brie Larson calling this the best movie she's ever seen. Like, I understand you're joking and like you're kind of just being fun and all that stuff, but like, whoa.
Was she joking? I didn't see that one. What was the context? Yeah.
No, this is the most incredible movie I've ever seen, blah, blah, blah. And like, I think she said the best movie I've ever seen.
Because I honestly, she's in like 10 movies that I like that I like much better than this. Like, it's not like
well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm like. I get it. Like Chris Pratt, he's gonna say like, "Oh, this was so great." Chris Hemsworth, "Hey, this was incredible. Go watch it." I gotcha. Yeah. You know what I mean? Patty Jenkins, I think like last night or something was like, "This is so great," bro. You know what I mean? But it's like kiss the ring, line up and kiss the ring kind of thing. Like, hey, make sure you get that tweet out. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't want.
Well, that's Hollywood in general, just like piggybacking off whatever the trend is. You know,
exactly right. It's just weird, man. You're like, whoa.
Yeah. Just for context, in case people don't know that the tweet that we were alluding to, I just like pulled it up. So it's Emily Lakdawala.
So this is a real tweet. Like a lot of people have been talking about it. I've seen, you know, yeah, it's a real tweet that I thought it was fake. I thought this was like I thought this was
like an Onion type deal.
Yeah, some like someone made a joke or someone was goofing on kind of the stereotypical kind of insane kind of, you know, super, I don't know, I guess super liberal, like white woman kind of a thing. I thought it was a joke, but this is like a real person who exists with like, and she has a real following. I think she had like 145,000 followers or something crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to read it?
Yeah. So just because you can't see her, I'm looking at her little thumbnail or whatever. She's like a middle-aged white woman, and she said, so I carefully did not buy Black Panther tickets for opening weekend because I did not want the white person. I did not want to be the white person sucking black joy out of the theater. What's the appropriate date for me to buy tickets? Is next weekend okay? Like in all seriousness, like and the funniest thing is just it's such like an ignorant like irony to it. Like she's literally like she's trying to be the opposite of racist, but also promoting segregation.
No,
she's
it's
like,
the weirdest
blacks
thing,
only
dude.
This weekend. It's like, well, okay, lady, that's the opposite of your intent. That's like the most racist thing you can do. And the condescending part of it, where it's like, and I saw a bunch of tweets, and I'm paraphrasing, but a bunch of the responses were like it's the most racist thing to do. Be like, don't worry, black people, I'll protect you. I'll look out for you. Like
it's totally weird,
ridiculous.
And it's like, guys, like just let people make cool stuff. And do, you know, but I'm just all for it. I'm all for it, dude. Like Coogler's better than this. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's like I really like Coogler's work, and to see it kind of like, I don't know, man. It's like a Star Wars movie or something. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It bums me out to see kind of like, you know, get out there and dance and get out there and chill for me and stuff. It feels like, I don't know, like it's insulting to me almost. You know what I mean? I don't know. It seems disingenuous and weird, and I get that people, love the movie and all that stuff, but it's just totally weird, man. I mean, I don't know, man. I hope I don't sound crazy to people or something, but like,
no, I mean, there are, because I mean, there's some political context to the actual plot itself. Like you have almost like Martin Luther King versus Malcolm X, like philosophy of Michael B. Jordan wanted to stand up for black people. Yeah, yes, a violent overthrow of the oppressor as opposed to like peace, whatever. So I get that the movie itself is political, sort of, but also people are attaching so much to it. It's just a fun superhero movie. But to add all this context, like you were saying, I didn't even see this, but I believe it 100% from what I have seen. That you're saying people are like, oh, we should study this in school. Like, it's not. The movie itself doesn't have that much depth to it. It's just like a fun half the movie is like spear fights and stuff. Like, it's just a fun superhero movie.
Well, it's a weird. Yeah, it's if you want to study it in school. I mean, let's talk about how ridiculous some of the stuff is, though. You know what I mean? Like, if you you can't have it both ways. Like the preface of this film is ridiculous. So you just can't, you know what I mean? But like, you got to have fun with it because it is kind of wild and crazy. You know what I mean? Like, if you study some of the economics of how this would work or stuff, you know what I mean? But it's brutal. Like, I think Film Theory did a great little breakdown of some of the stuff. Like, I mean, I study economics in school. That's what my degree's in, and yeah, it's a if you compared Wakanda to Saudi Arabia or Venezuela, one of these countries, it's pretty wild. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to have fun with it because if you treated it like a real life situation, it would be brutal. It would be an incredibly kind of oppressive, brutal dictatorship regime that is wild. So it's interesting. Like, I've always thought Wakanda was kind of funky because, and the film didn't help with a lot of the issues that I've always had with kind of like, well, what is vibranium? What does it do? What doesn't it do? There are no rules, right? So like, I love kind of, I don't know, like it goes back to kind of the Force, right? With The Last Jedi and Rian Johnson and him just kind of reinventing, oh, the Force does this now too. And you're like, oh, okay. Like, I thought we had a pretty good idea, like what the Force does and like what you can't do, because if that could have been possible, why didn't this person do it? You know what I mean? Like, we kind of had some rules. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, vibranium, it does, it heals people. It turns into flowers. It makes trains go.
I mean, it does kind of, right. It's bulletproof. It's the strongest thing in the world. Yeah. It's like a bad, late night, throw it in a bullet hole. I patched my boat with vibranium. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know, man. But to me, it just kind of ruins stuff when you do that. Oh, it just does everything. It's magic.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
it's like the annoying kid when you're like at daycare as a kid and it's like, what's your superpower? He's like, oh, I have a force field and I can fly and I can. It's like, that's bullshit. You can't have every power. Pick one. It's like yeah, I hate that.
It's tough. And Black Panther's, kind of an interesting case where, you know what I mean? It's like, my suit's bulletproof, but I'm also like a super, I also have super speed and strength and okay, so you're like Batman and you're also a genius. You know what I mean? So you just kind of go, oh, you're fabulously wealthy because you control this insane, weird, closed ecosystem. You're incredibly brilliant. You're bulletproof. You're a superhero. It's just, you know what I mean? I like more, I don't know. That's why I dig Batman because, he is kind of getting on out there. You know what I mean? It's like, whatever, he's martial arts, some gadgets that are usually crap. Some cool cars maybe, but I mean.
Yeah, I was going to say you don't even think about that, but the batarang and shit, that's not a good weapon. He's got
he's
smoke
really
bombs. Limited. He doesn't have anything crazy. Yeah.
Shark repellent. Yeah, I mean, Batman's, whatever's on his belt sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And whatever's on Black Panther's stuff is better because they just kind of go, well, it's magic.
Well, even those, I don't understand the technology between having spears that just aren't there they press a button and they have this like giant. It just appears out of nowhere. I guess that's part of like the cloaking thing. Who knows? Yeah, it's confusing.
Oh yeah, there's cloaking too. It's like they're Klingons and stuff. And like it's wild, dude. You know what I mean? It's yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's that's what it's like. All right, we'll just go full into that. Like steer into the like craziness. You know what I mean? Like just do that. But like then don't give me like, oh, it's incredible. Like so, you know, like you can't. You know what I mean? Like just give me one or the other.
Right.
You know, and give me Dark Knight trilogy that's grounded in reality.
Well, that's my whole point with why I can't really connect with these, and like that's why I did really connect with the Batman movies, because they were more, they're grounded in reality. It was like I don't know, and not that I can't wrap my head. Like I love Game of Thrones. I know dragons aren't real. Like it's not like I can get into fantasy movies. They don't have to be like super reality based. But there's just something about, I don't know. I just can't connect with some of these Marvel movies. I know that's like, I think I'm in the minority there, but I don't know. But we'll get into. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was gonna agree. I think a lot of people's beefs with Game of Thrones is like, what are the rules, man? What can the Ice King do? What is Bran doing? What can he see? How does this work? People like they just want rules. They want to know. They do. They want constraints. They want boundaries so that they can see and figure out logic statements and figure out how things are going to work. And that's the laziest. That's standard J.J. Abrams standard kind of like, whatever. We'll just magic our way out of it. You know what I mean? You know, to me, I just like, you guys, come on, guys. Come on.
Well, yeah, because once you introduce that element of like magic and there's no real definition of what that stuff does, then it's like, then you can just do anything. So once you like, you need like craziness within a set of rules. Like you have to establish the rules of like a universe and then play with it. Otherwise,
right. Oh, and that's largely the problem with comic book movies. And comic books in general, you know, they just invent some way for someone to be resurrected, or you know what I mean. So it's like you kind of just can't. I don't know. It's you kind of, you know, beggars can't be choosers kind of a thing. You just take what you. I don't know. I'm sure there's some saying that would be appropriate for this, but yeah.
Well, let's talk about that, because that's what the article was about that you wrote. Your I think it was a spoiler, definitely a spoiler review for The Disorderly, which I don't think whatever. It'll be in the description of the YouTube video, but thedisorderly.com, check it out. But the villain issue. So they killed off Claw, and that you say. So in the context, he seemed like almost like because I don't know the comic books. I don't know anything else about this. So and I haven't seen the other Avenger movies. So like I'm really seeing this as a one-off movie. And he seems like some, you know, like the henchman, like thug type guy. And you're saying that in the comics he's like the mastermind that pulls all the strings. So that was crazy. That's a huge difference. That's not how he came off in that movie at all. He was like a really aggressive sort of bad guy, but he didn't seem like some sort of mastermind in the movie.
Yeah, I think the Claw, that's the more traditional Claw. You know, they've done all kinds of weird things with Claw, where they've had him, you know, become sound, and like literally there's a storyline where he gets basically converted into just pure sound and is still trying to run around and do stuff. But yeah, no, I was kind of bummed, you know, because I dig the way that I like the character in a vacuum. I like Andy Serkis's character, and that's what I was trying to explain. I was like, you know, I like what they try to go for, and I like that character, but it almost kind of diminishes what you kind of had some potential for in the future.
Long term, yeah.
And that was kind of my whole gripe with the villain issue, and to kill off your I mean, you know, I like Andy Serkis. I don't know. I mean, the guy, I don't know if he's considered a movie star at this point, but like probably pretty close. Yeah. And to have him just be like, we're just going to use him as a plot device real quick and just use his body as like a quick way to kind of bypass some of the other stuff. You know, and I kind of talk about it in the article a little bit, but you know, Killmonger is a lot more, I think, dynamic in the books, because he doesn't really rely on some of the stuff that they just kind of shortcut. In the movie, they just go, "Oh, he's a Navy SEAL, so y'all know what that means." Oh, he's just kind of a crazy killer. And I'm like, like it's just, Killmonger in the books is he's a genius, went to MIT, did all this crazy stuff, and he's a physical just Adonis, you know what I mean? So he's someone who, like, you know, he doesn't have superpowers, he doesn't have the herb, he doesn't, you know what I mean? He's done everything mentally and physically he could. He's at the absolute peak. And that's a real challenge. You know what I mean? That's a real antagonist. That's someone who is a real problem. And kind of the same thing with Claw in the books. And I think what they kind of did was just kind of, you know, my problem with the Claw is that they kind of make him kind of wild and crazy and unpredictable, which is fun to watch. I love seeing it, but you're just like, how haven't they gotten him yet? Like, he seems pretty reckless. He doesn't seem that incredibly calculating. He gets betrayed, and he's carrying around a pound of vibranium in his junk. Like, he doesn't seem to have it all together. Like, he's a wild man.
Right.
You know, so it's just a weird thing to think, like, oh, yeah, he's just out there running around, like, this entire nation with space-age technology and alien. I mean, you know, they can't figure it out or find him. Like, oh, we got a tip that... And it's just, I don't know. It's a weird thing to me. It's like... You know, I was kind of bummed what they did with, you know, Circus and Claw and stuff, but the Killmonger stuff, I don't know, I kind of found lazy. I just, you know, they kind of, you know... They, like,
dumbed him down.
He's, you know, they kind of like, oh, yeah, they, you know, they kind of have, they have Martin, God, I'm trying to remember his name, but kind of the CIA officer, I'm trying to remember his name.
Freeman, right?
But Martin Freeman, yeah, and, you know, just kind of like briefly, yeah, he went to MIT, so he's smart. You know MIT, right? And then, they just talk about his military stuff. Like, oh, that's how he just killed a ton of people all over the place. That's why he's dangerous. And it's like, I don't know. It's lame. I was like, I get you don't have a whole movie, but you literally didn't have him for an hour. And all people kind of get is like, oh, he's like a hype beast. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he's dressed as. He's running around London and stuff. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just think they kind of, he's a cooler character. He's more fun. He's more dynamic. He's more villainous. He's more cunning. He's crazier. Then they just kind of like, yeah, you know.
Do you think they could bring him back through like something?
I don't know. I'm sure they will.
Yeah, just because he's such a big star and the success of this movie. Like, Michael B. Jordan's like, I feel like he's like one of the bigger stars out right now. Just, I mean, he's like,
well, that's my thing.
I feel like, yeah. So to kill him off with, like, you know, future sequels planned, it seems like they'll somehow, even if it wasn't the original plan, I feel like they have to figure out a way to, like, resurrect him or something, just because how do you not have him in the franchise moving forward?
I don't know. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm you know, that's why I'm bummed about both of them being gone, because you could have played with them more. You know, not even the Joker dies in The Dark Knight, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, you don't get rid of these people. Like, they're valuable, man. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I was kind of... Who knows? I mean, I'm sure they'll invent some BS and use one of the Infinity Stones to bring them back or some such nonsense. But to me, it's just so lame to do that. It takes all of the death out of it. You know what I mean? Oh, they'll just bring them back or reinvent it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think he did a great job too. And then I thought the sister was great too. Just like, you know, just straight, you know, not even judging any the plots or anything, just like performance alone. I thought they were great. I don't know. Yeah, I liked it. I'm not in love with it, and I feel like that's weird because everyone else seems to be. So
it's a weird thing. Yeah, it's like, can I just say that I thought it was okay? I don't know. Like, am I? I don't think so. You know what I mean? So like, I didn't even want to. Oh, I know. I'm trying. You know what I mean? It's in that, you know, I was like struggling to write this review because I'm like, you know, this isn't going to read well probably. So like, let me just pick one thing that is a big problem, and I'm just going to write that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to talk about the CGI rhinos, and I'm not going to talk, you know, all the really crazy wild stuff, like basically taking a fight scene from Spider-Man 3 and having them fall and fight, and then having two badly CGI dudes in black suits fight in a black tunnel. Like, I'm not going to talk about that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to talk about what are those. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, let me just pick a thing and write about it. So that's kind of what I did. But I mean, let's talk about those rhinos. Is that the worst? I mean, that's the worst thing I've seen in the last 5 years. Easily.
You mean like literally the quality of the CGI, or the idea in general of like, oh shit, unleash the rhinos? Like these. By the way, the Black Panther Well, actually, all of them. I feel like they're such good warriors. The rhinos wouldn't be that big of a problem. They like charge in one direction. Can't you just like jump 15 feet?
These were special rhinos.
Oh, I didn't know the concept.
Iron rhinos. They were special. They're CGI, which means they're not. You know what I mean? So they're not bound by the normal laws of man.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Well,
but
one guy
it was
them. The guy from Get Out.
Sure.
That's cool.
Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, don't get me on my crazy, Black, Get Out wasn't that great. Hashtag talk.
I did love Get Out. I would disagree with you on that one. I loved it, but
no, that's fine. That's fine.
I don't think that's Best Picture, by the way, but I did love it personally. But I liked it more than the Black Panther.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And that was another thing. I was like, they kind of wasted him. They kind of, right. I felt like they wasted, having kind of another big rising star. They kind of have him as like a weird, weird best friend / kind of,
yeah.
I don't know.
And where's he standing? Because I feel like he like was doing the whole heel turn, and then he yielded. So it's like, oh, I guess he's just kind of a good guy again. Like it's just weird. Well, weird arc. Yeah.
You were gonna betray your best friend and kill him.
Yeah.
And kill him, and then you're like, I surrender. And
over like weird stakes too. Like it was like a philosophical difference, right? Like he almost agreed with the philosophy that they should be doing more. They should be arming people around the world or whatever. Like, and it was like just because Black Panther was like, I don't think we should be using a weapon for evil. He's like, well, then I'm gonna condemn you to death. Like it seems like a wild. Like they were like best friends right up until the guy showed up, and it was like that day, and he was like, I stand with this new guy. I hope you kill my friend. Like I was like, what the fuck? It came out of nowhere.
Right. It was another one where you're just like, well, how does that work? How does that? Shouldn't this guy basically be charged with treason and attempting a coup at the rightful, king and stuff? And
no, but you had the comic relief where the rhino licked that girl's face, and then everyone was like, "Oh man, all right, let's go back to normal."
We're back. We're back.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, Okoye, right? She's the leader of the badass.
Yep.
Female like security / special forces / whatever those.
The best West warrior in all of Wakanda. That's what I said. I
mean, yeah, she was great. I really liked. Whenever she was on, I think she was pretty interesting. I'm trying to remember her name. Danae.
Yeah.
Gira, I think. She was pretty cool. So she was great. And I love the sister, like the mini Q when she's not dropping Jake Paul memes from 2 years ago. I thought she was great. I don't know. I mean, it has its moments. It's good. It's just I can't get with the hyperbole, man. I can't get the hype of. I don't believe hype anymore. I'm hypeless. I can't be sold. I'm gone. I'm like between this and Last Jedi, I got nothing. I got nothing left. I'm so broken. I just can't. I can no longer even. I go. I hope it's good because you just don't know anymore. Scores mean nothing. Headlines mean nothing. I just hey, get with it or else. It's great or else. You know what I mean? J.J. Abrams, if you hated Last Jedi, you hate women. I'm like, whoa, okay. Like,
that's people aren't mad. Like,
you're drawing some weird lines in the sand, JJ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I had a lot of problems. The women were not the problems that I have with Last Jedi.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's kind of this weird climate of just like, hey, man, if this is incredible or else. And I'm like, all right, I guess.
I almost don't even think because you don't hear. Like I feel like people just like they like create like a false storyline of like outrage about stuff. So it's almost like people were fighting against racism, but I was like, no one's fighting for racism because of Black Panther. Like it's not like. It's almost like you have like these people that are lining up and being like, this movie is very, very important for all these reasons, and you can't convince me otherwise. And it was like I wasn't trying to. Like I feel like that's like this weird contest where everyone like creates this like fake online war, but it's only one side to it, really.
No, it's weird, man. And you see weird stories that it's like reports of black people beating down white people at the movies are false and like plants by the white supremacists, and you're like, whoa. You know what I mean? It's just weird stuff. Like, who was doing that? Was like 4 people on Twitter doing that? Like, I have no idea. You know what I mean? Just, but like, oh, I'm glad to hear that. That sounds great. Like, people aren't being assaulted by the color because of the color of their skin at the movies. Like, that's great.
Yeah.
Like, they're just weird, crazy story. I mean, I see headlines that's literally, I see hundreds of headlines a day, and they're all just absolutely insane. For the most part. So it's just, I could probably do a weekly post, just the most ridiculous headlines I see.
That's actually a great idea. I feel like you should.
A lot of them are like teen mom related, though. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I'll just shout them out to Ash. She's sitting there working or whatever, and I'll be like, I'll just shout one out. You know what I mean? And it's just like, just absolutely crazy. But like the amount of just, I'm bombarded to do the job and find cool stories. You have to get in the mud and just suffer through all the crap and all the insanity and filter it out. That's I'm past the savings on to you people. That's what I'm trying to do.
I was gonna say that's the biggest. That is the tagline for the disorder. I feel like it's like you're going through the shit, so we don't have to. And then it comes out in this like summary form. It's like, well, I saw a lot of shit, but I weeded through it, and here's the actual interesting stuff.
That's basically what I'm trying to do. I'm literally reading these horrible headlines about teen moms. So that you don't have to, and I mean teen mom reality show on MTV, not
just general teen moms,
not actual teen moms. Yeah, I'm talking about like such and such supports such and such is firing because of homophobic tweets, or one of them defending. Let's see, what's my all right? Let me give you a. I don't know. I don't follow teen mom, but just by my reading the headlines, I can give you like. All right, and one of them posted a insensitive AR-15 Pro tweet like right after a bunch of kids were murdered, so that was good. One is suing Viacom because they fired her for doing porn. Let's see, one is that
girl Farrah or whatever? I feel like okay, because that's like the old. I thought, is Teen Mom still on?
Oh, it's on.
Oh, I didn't know that. Because I remember that the old season. I mean, that was like 10 years ago.
There's no way that there's this many. There's no way it's not still on if I'm seeing all these headlines about it. Right. It's crazy.
I went to high school with a bunch of teen moms, and I feel like it wasn't that exciting. Like, I don't know where this poll is.
Were they on TV?
No.
Were they on TV?
No.
Okay.
But I feel like I like saw their lives, well, here and there.
Yeah, sure.
No, I didn't, it wasn't like appointment television. I needed to tune in to watch it, but I don't know. Apparently, there's an audience.
There's an incredible audience. It seems there's a lot going on with the teen moms, and I am subjected to all of it, so that I can try to find fun, cool, interesting articles and stories. So
you're a hero, man.
Toss us a click for just my teen mom suffering.
Yeah, you could help make David St. Martin suffering less by tossing us a click. He really, I mean. What you do is nothing short of heroic. I can't even imagine just going through the mud and seeing all these headlines, and you're a hero, man.
It's brutal. I don't want to call myself a hero.
I just did it for you,
I appreciate it.
And just quick shout out to the AMC Theater in Plainville, Connecticut. Never been there before. It was just like the timing that worked out or whatever, but it was fucking awesome. Recliner seats. Like, we were like literally the seat kicks up. It was like these really nice. I was like sitting on like a lazy boy basically in a movie theater. I've seen that there's other like IMAX theaters or whatever that have like nice seats, but I didn't even expect it either. I was like, got my ticket, walked in, and then turns out it was like this super luxury VIP type theater. So that was a good surprise. So see,
I feel like you're really impressed with stuff that's been like the basic standard
in LA
for like the past 4 or 5 years. No, just everywhere I've lived. Like,
well, congratulations on living in big cities. I've been all over Connecticut and like 8 or 9 different theaters. Probably it's the first time I've ever sat in a seat like that.
Between the teen mom population and the movie theaters, I'm pretty stoked about the next time I get out to Connecticut.
It's a lovely place. All right, well, we can wrap it up there. Go to the Disorderly. Check out. I mean, I don't know, everything. It literally is a compilation, especially the Spotlight is it's a compilation of the muck, the good stuff from the muck, like the interesting articles that are sort of hidden away that for whatever reason, whether it's sheer will or just you have a knack for it, I feel like you just find these articles that go under the radar. It's not a regurgitation of shit you see at every other entertainment website. It really is like its own thing. Stuff you're probably not going to see in other places. Rare stories, behind the scenes stuff. So check that out. It's Disorderly ENT on Twitter. Is that what the Facebook is too? Or whatever.
No, it's only Disorderly ENT on Facebook. We got Disorderly Media on Twitter and Instagram.
So throw us a follow, a like, spread the word, tell a friend about this. Just check out the website. I don't know. Keep coming back. And this is honestly, there's a while too. So I have the other website I do, MMA Mad, and there's a while where it was like, all right, we're kind of doing the same shit as everyone else, and like hopefully we get some clicks. Like I think the Disorderly has the actual unique niche content where it's like the content's there. It's just a matter of getting a following and growing it and whatever. And I feel like it's worth it. It's just people need to hear about it first. So if you like it, tell people about it, and we'll keep doing stuff like this.
We'll keep doing it. We're trying to do as much content as we can and still live semi-normal lives.
Yeah, semi-normal.
Semi-normal.
All right. Well, take care, guys. I appreciate it, and I think there's more quickies coming. Like I said, I think this is the plan in the future is instead of doing like this ended up being kind of longer, but to have it be focused on like one topic, just because I don't know, it gives us a chance to release more videos. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we will be back with more.